Hello ladies and gentlemen, today in War Thunder we're going to be taking much more of a relaxed approach. This was a game which I really enjoyed playing. It was an odd one, to be quite honest, and you'll see later why. But basically what is a backstory to this? I was doing the challenges for the I-301 and one of them was to kill 30 players in a lag. So, I got into realistic battles. Basically got into the lag 366, I believe, or it may be the 311, I'm not sure. And just to get the 15 kills in RB, because obviously it's ×2, just to get them done. And I ended up in a lot of games where I was the lowest BR. Basically, the way I feel it works in War Thunder is, if you are the lowest BR aircraft, even at low levels, you do have to play a much more conservative role. You have to play a much more assisting role, basically. Because the planes that you are coming up against, stuff like Spitfire Mark IIBs, Typhoons, stuff like that, are just kind of better than you. It's as simple as that, and if flown correctly, can absolutely decimate your aircraft. I mean, a lag has no place fighting with something like a Spitfire. The Spitfire should win hands down 10 out of 10. But the thing is, after a string of about 5 battles, I was on about 18 kills at this point, I believe, I said screw it. I'm sick of coming up against planes which have a higher BR than me. Let's just have some fun. Let's go out in front, let's try and be a target, try and bring everybody down for the team, and then they can have some fun as well. Try and pick off who I can, but basically try and survive first, and then try and kill stuff later. I use this tactic quite a bit sometimes in realistic, especially in lower tiers, mainly because I feel that I have the skill to stay alive in a dogfight, and sometimes other players don't. When you're playing at lower tiers, you do not come up against as experienced pilots as you do around like late tier 4 and early tier 5, which is where I've been fighting my battles mainly recently, if I'm not playing tanks. So when it comes to it, when I go to these like tier 1, tier 2 battles, it becomes a lot more relaxed, it becomes a lot less painstaking. Instead of BF-109 and Focke-Wulfs and TARs flying out of the clouds at 7,000 meters against your Mustang, which can't really do a lot at 5,000, and all you have to do is dodge and scrape and hope that you get a hit and hope that your tracers set something on fire, and basically just try and survive. Whereas in tier 1 and tier 2, even though your aircraft can be inferior, it's very easy to turn around a fight, especially in these lower tier Russian aircraft. Now the thing about these Russian aircraft is they have some very good advantages. They lose a lot of energy very fast, and I understand to a lot of players that isn't a good thing, but the thing is, that basically means that at these lower levels you have 1 or 2 turns where you can outturn stuff like Hurricanes and Spitfires at high speeds until you drop your energy and you're able to stick on their arse without overshooting them. It does lock up above stuff like 500 kilometers an hour, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay, because Spitfires can't even go that without ripping their wings. So, first target spotted through the clouds. Of course it is some kind of bomber, otherwise it wouldn't be as far up as this. Another thing that annoys me about this lag is the fact that its ammunition count is very slow. It's very low. So what I'll do is I'll basically describe what's going on with my plane while we're going down. So we're setting up obviously a diving attack on this Beaufort, I believe it is. Get some hits in, and as usual, because of the lag and stuff, he starts bouncing around. It's a Beaufighter, sorry. This seems to happen quite a bit recently. I don't know why, but when I get close to a target, it seems as if they shift in space by about a meter or two, so it puts off my targeting completely. And this may be down to ping or something like that, but recently I've been getting better pings than ever. On the US server right now, I get around 90 ping, which compared to the 150 I was getting before isn't too bad. And then on the European, I get around 200, which is a lot better than the 240 that I was getting. So that's all the cannon rounds used on one Beaufighter, and as you can see, it takes me more shots to kill a plane nowadays, basically because, well, because of either ping or packet loss or something like that. Some of the shots don't register, or a lot of the shots don't register. When I hit a plane and it sparks a lot, it kind of annoys me. But one plane down, he's out of the fight. A Beaufighter, especially at this level, can be very, very, very bad for your team. All you have to do is have a few people go head to head with it, and yeah, you're going to struggle. Now, a lot of my Russian team at this point, you probably can't see it on the map, but basically they've all dived. They've all seen a few targets and they've decided, right, these are the guys I'm going to go after. And at this point, I'm out of my cannon ammo. I have a few MGs left, so I do have to be a bit more conservative. All I can really do is maybe maybe get somebody off somebody's ass, but that's really about it. I have maybe around 50 MG rounds, which isn't going to do a lot. That Beaufighter took a lot out of me. Not that I got hit or anything like that, just the fact that it took a lot of shots to kill, which is an unfortunate thing when you're flying something which has such limited ammo. So we have a Spitfire, get some shots into him, and as I said, I can turn better than him in one turn, and that's it, and then I have to get out of there. And by the way, in this replay you are following my view, which is what I'm using basically, just so you can see what I'm thinking while I'm talking about it as well. You can see my movements. I always check my map, I always check behind me. Whenever I'm in a straight line, I hold C and have a look around with the mouse. And that's basically how I play when it comes to it. So I see that the Spitfire has turned off. I also don't see a Typhoon coming in, but luckily the Typhoon misses a lot of his shots, and because of the nature of the Typhoon, he may be able to get one turn on me, and that's about it. And then after that, I outturn him. So instead of concentrating on the Typhoon, who is plonking a few shots into me with his 7.7s, I'm concentrating on the Spitfire, who is much more of a threat. The Typhoon will eventually have to turn away. The Spitfire in itself will not. He can stay on my arse all day long. I don't believe I can outrun him in this thing, just because of the nature of the lag. It's not very fast. But in a Typhoon, I definitely can't outrun a Typhoon. But I can outturn a Typhoon. With a Spitfire, there's not a lot I can do, especially when it's a Mark 2B or a Mark 2A, with a lot of guns which can plow a lot of damage into me. But even though I took a few hits from that Typhoon, it didn't do anything critical. It didn't really hurt my aircraft. And at this point, let's just say that my team has been decimated. It's basically as simple as that, really. My team got dragged down to fight low-level aircraft, such as Spitfires and Hurricanes, and to be honest, they were outclassed. In battles like this, when we go to lower tiers, this happens actually quite a lot, where one team just dominates over the other. It doesn't happen as much in higher tiers. I believe it's much more of a balanced fight. Not because of the planes, but just because of the players and their experience. They know when to get out of a situation, they know when to attack, when to set up a 2-on-1 instead of being in a 1-on-2. But in this match, with some low experienced players, I did check their levels after. I think the highest level person on my team was 15, and on the enemy team there was a squad of guys who were all level 50. So yeah, they basically tore us apart. But luckily for me, that Typhoon and that Spitfire decided to go away. I don't really know why. They could have chased me, they could have really, really hurt me. They must have been low on ammo or something. And I'm not showing it right now, but in the chat, I threw out the GG. I said, you know what, you guys have won. You have a lot more planes than me. There's no real way I can take you out. Maybe if I was in a plane with more ammo, then yes, I would go for it. But right now, it's about a 6 on 1. And then a Mark IIB Spitfire, I believe BR 3.3. The highest I can come up against is laying shots into me. And as you can see, those red traces are definitely 20s. So they're flying past my plane. A few are hitting me, but nothing critical, so I don't really have to worry. And this is what I mean. The Spitfire can outturn me, it can outrun me, it can outclimb me. This Spitfire can do anything that I can and better. So the amount of damage I've taken so far, I have a pink wing and a pink fuselage, and it's making it quite hard to, it's making it quite hard to keep in a balanced way, but not hard to keep it in the air. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a Hellcat. So we have a Mark IIB who just got lit up by AA, so thank God for that. And we have a damn Hellcat, one of the most annoying planes in the game. I will eventually do a video on the Hellcat, because I believe it's a plane which really, really needs something doing about it. Basically, the short end of the stick is, if it gets into games like this, the Hellcat should never lose. You shouldn't die. You shouldn't be killed. It is absolutely amazing. It's one of those planes which I think should be capped, where it can't face anything below 3.0. I think that would work for it. Sticking it at 3.3 and 3.7 is fine, just because of the way it acts, but it shouldn't be able to face stuff which I'm flying, such as like a 2.0 or 2.3 aircraft, because as you see, it just wrecks me, and there's not a lot I can do. So it takes out my engine in wonderful fashion, but because I got back to the airfield, I could actually land the damn thing. So at this point, no engine, obviously. Oil is spattered everywhere. Coolant is leaking. Both wings are pinky red, and both flaps are pretty much done at this point. But I have landed. I'm repairing, which is quite a surprise. And after throwing out a GG, and I was willing to go back to the base, repair, and then just J out. Because sometimes I do that. If I think a battle is lost, the enemy team basically deserves the win, just throw it out there. Because what's going to happen? I'm going to maybe get up into the air, maybe I get 1 or 2 kills, but it's not really going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things. They were the better pilots, it's as simple as that. But that Spitfire and that Hellcat pissed me off. They really pissed me off. I said, look, if you just let me go land, I'll J out. It's as simple as that. And they said, no, screw you, we're going to kill you. So, they ended up dead. It's as simple as that. And we've already seen the Spitfire go down, and later on, the Hellcat will go down. So I made a quick break there because obviously there's no point in you watching me climb to altitude and stuff, and I spot something in the clouds, a black dot in the midst of white, and it's obviously another plane. And by this point, the enemy team keeps crashing, either through damage or being unable to land. I don't really know, but a lot of it was because of damage that they'd sustained. That Hellcat, its engine actually died eventually, so that was that guy out of the fight. So that was the 2 guys I'd sworn to kill were out of the fight. So now it was, right, let's take everything from them. So I believe this Hurricane in front of me. This was an interesting battle because I saw this Hurricane. Got some shots into him, no critical damage, hurt him a little bit. But this Hurricane, I saw something interesting on his wings. I was like, what's that hanging from him? And it turns out this dude had rockets on. Which is quite admirable. Maybe he was trying to take out tanks or something. But I thought, right, it's a Mark IIB, so I don't think it turns as well as a Mark 1, at least in my experience. This lag doesn't turn great, but it should turn better than this. And he has rockets, so his turn time is going to be worse, and his energy retention is going to be worse. So I thought I had this fight. And I was confident in my ability to outplay him, even though he was a high-leveled player. And that's what happened, and he fires the rockets. Whoa, that was close. That could have been a lot worse. But he's fired his rockets now, so at least he's lightened his load, but he still has the racks there, so that's going to have a bit of an issue. I've hit his engine, that's the cooling gone, so that means after a while, his engine will eventually die. So he's in a lot of trouble here. And bang, there we go. There's the crit. He's going to struggle now. And he can keep fighting if he wants to, but it's not going to go well for him. Even in his critted state, with his engine puffing out a ton of smoke, he's still able to keep with me in turns, which is very admirable for this Hurricane. But eventually, oh yes, it does show. I put on my combat flaps and say, you know what, screw this, let's get some hits in. My aiming definitely wasn't the best in this, as you can tell, but, you know, it did the job. So, I've taken out this Hurricane, and there is one more player on the enemy team. I don't know what he's in. I can't remember his name, being in a fight before, so I haven't seen him before. But this Hurricane basically just gives up. He's like, you know what, screw it, I'm going down. Set him on fire, he's done. So after this, I have some cannon rounds left, some MG rounds, but not a lot, so my plan is to go back to base and to basically land, so I can repair, even though I haven't taken any hits or anything, but I need to reload. Whoever I'm coming up against, I definitely need to reload. So that's what I do. I go back to base, and I try and land once again, but the thing is, because that Hurricane gave away my position, there is a dude stalking me. As usual in these games. It was good teamwork that they were working in pairs. It would have been nice if they actually, properly worked in a pair, instead of one waiting for the other to die. I see this quite a lot, actually, not in just low tiers, but in high tiers as well. It's as if they're sacrificing their allies so they can get the kill. And it's kind of horrible in a way. But I understand why people do it, because people are hungry for kills. That's what gets you the most research and the most lines and everything like that. But yeah, I don't play like that. If I see a teammate in need, well, I go and help him. So at this point, I spot behind me a Typhoon who's coming in. And this is where the battle really becomes art, in a way. It becomes an amazing thing that I really enjoyed. So I spot him on my map. That basically means if I land, he's just going to take me out. It's as simple as that. And because I haven't taken any damage or anything like that, then I can fight him. I can fight him in a one-on-one fight. If I can get this guy at low energy, he's toast. It's as simple as that. The one issue I have is ammunition. The one issue he has is that he can get into a position where I can easily kill him if he's at low energy, depending on what type of pilot he is. But he's being clever, he's keeping his height, he's keeping his altitude, he's going to try and use it as much as possible, which is exactly what you have to do. And this lag, remember, it isn't as maneuverable as you'd think. It's very nose heavy. Its tail, its rudder and its ailerons do not move that much. But as you can see, I can easily dodge him, apart from there, where he got some hits in, but once again, nothing critical. Those 7.7s do not tear apart my plane, which is quite nice. But I'm basically trying to negate his altitude advantage by going around these hills, because if I stay around these hills, it makes his approach a lot harder when he comes to kill me, because he has to remember that the hills are around. It's as simple as that, and if you dive too fast and you cannot pull up, well, there you go. And once again, I go over this hill or mountain or whatever you want to call it, use the terrain to my advantage and make his approach really hard to take. And there you go. Once again, burning energy, trying to get him at a lower energy state. Now if I was him, I would take a pass, and then I would go away, maybe 2 kilometers or something, set up my attack path again, and then come back, keep doing it. But he wanted to stay a lot closer. This was another level 50 pilot, by the way, so if you want to call an unexperienced pilot, he wasn't. He gets some more shots in, doesn't really do anything, misses, hits the mountain, which is quite nice. But all this time, I'm just watching where he is. I'm waiting for him to make a mistake, because right now, he hasn't really. But I realise he's staying awfully close to me doing these turns. So you know what I can do? I can pop up and get some hits on him. Got a few hits, didn't do any real damage, but I now know what he's trying to do. And the thing is with this lag, in a dive it picks up speed pretty well, but when you climb it loses it amazingly well. And this guy is trying to boom and zoom, I think. I think, but I don't think he underestimates the power of the lag, to be quite honest. And there's another few more hits, but as you can see, I'm trying to just not drain my ammo. And at this point I've hit his engine. The cooling system is gone. So as long as I can prolong this fight and not go back to his airfield, I know his engine will die. I haven't taken really any damage. I've taken a few hits from his 7.7s, but it hasn't really done anything. And you can see here, basically a turn fighter, which this lag kind of is. It isn't really an energy fighter against an energy fighter. It's an amazing battle. It really shows how each side has advantages over the other. And all the Typhoon really had to do was keep going after basically coming after me, and then he would be alright. He could set up his approach, and he could basically kill me from any angle. This thing, even though it pulls up okay at about maybe 30 degrees, it does not pull up well at a straight 45 or 50. So in a position like this, I can easily hit him. But if he came straight over me and down, he could just make me burn my energy, like going straight up, and then he could literally just fall down on me and kill me. But yeah, it was an interesting foray of a little dogfight, because I knew at this point, if he doesn't do anything, he is going to die, because his engine is going to die. So I just stayed on his tail. I didn't do anything silly. I made sure that he couldn't shoot me. I just made sure that he couldn't get a shot on me. If I stayed on him, and at this point I'm completely out of ammo, by the way, and fuel is an interesting thing. I have maybe 5 minutes of fuel, so I'm just docking my engine every so often just to save some. So I will eventually run out of fuel, but I can save 5 minutes. I can make it 8 minutes if I want to. But as you can see, I just stay on him. I actually retain energy better than him, so I will actually go past him sometimes, which is quite interesting if we go in a straight line. But the thing is, as long as he can't get guns on me, he's pretty much dead. Now he's trying to get away from the AA of the airfield. I don't think he got hit by any of it. Maybe he just doesn't want to get hit by it. And at this point, he can't win this battle unless he properly disengages. So there's either plan A or plan B for this pilot. Plan A is that he can maybe drag me to his airfield, try and land, maybe the AA takes me out, and maybe something in the center takes me out. But something we have to look at is the fact that if he tries to do that, all I do is turn and go away, and because his engine has been damaged, he should not be able to catch me. And then I go back to my airfield, I rearm, and then I know where he's going. And because his engine is damaged, he's going to be going to his airfield a hell of a lot slower than I'm going to mine. So I could probably get up before he gets into the air. His other option is to kind of just wait for me to make a mistake. And that's not really going to happen too many times, because even if I go past him, if I have too much energy, I can just pull off and then just basically just sit on his tail again. Do a bit of an aileron roll or something, or a barrel roll, just lose some energy, and just keep doing that. And as you can see, I'm just kind of enjoying this. After a really tough battle, we are the last two players. each shot. You know, him on his team and me on my team. He's been damaged. I'm out of ammo. I'm struggling for fuel. I don't know how he's doing for fuel, obviously. But the thing is, it's actually kind of nice because we're just kind of dancing right now. There's no way I can kill him more than I can. He has ammo, but he should never really hit me if I'm, being sensible. And I'm just enjoying myself. And there was something that Richard Lewis said, I believe, on one of his trash talks. Richard Lewis is an esports journalist, and I really enjoy reading his work and stuff. And I would definitely say check it out if you want to. But basically, Richard Lewis said, he was talking about League of Legends, I believe. You play 10, 20 games of League of Legends just so you can maybe carry one of them, and you can basically be that 1 versus 9 that you want to be. And sometimes in War Thunder that's the case as well. Every 10 or 20 games you have that really satisfying game, and for me it's not really kills, it's not, it's not doing mission objectives or anything. Sometimes when you're against another plane, you can have a proper dogfight. Even if you're out of ammo, even if he's struggling for for an engine and stuff, you can just have a nice time. And right now, I can't kill him, he can't kill me, and it's just nice. His engine is basically dead right now. It's overheated. The Typhoon's engine is very much not very nice when it comes to that, and I'm just dancing, to be quite honest. That's all I'm doing. I'm just staying around him, and we're talking in chat. We're basically going on about how, talking about the Typhoon and the lag and stuff. Unfortunately, you can't see it in the video, but yeah, I can get as close as that, and nothing can happen to me. I think at this point he realized his plane was pretty much done, and my plane, if he'd lasted a minute longer, I would have been out of fuel. So, yeah, it's an odd one, I'll give you that. The way that some of these battles can go out. Like when everybody else on my team had died, there was 6 people on the enemy team. 4 of them crashed, 3 due to engine damage, 1 due to basically mucking up on the airfield. I checked on the replay after. And then there was this Typhoon and that Hurricane. I was able to take out the Hurricane, and this Typhoon became a friend. Because basically we just didn't really do a lot. I mean, we shot at each other just as like friends do. Every so often you have a bit of a fight with a friend, but you always make up. And that's what I feel like I did with this Typhoon and this pilot. And he enjoyed it because he knew by this point he was dead. If you look at the tickets, even if he'd run to his base and tried to run back, I don't think he would have made it, but even if he did, the tickets were not in his favour. And he just basically enjoyed it. And at this point his engine is dead. He has admitted defeat, and he's going to go land in the water, go and peacefully live as a duck or something like that. But it was an interesting battle, not because it was flashy, not because it was 6, 8 kills or anything like that. It was just nice because it was something different. It was a weird battle, which I really, really enjoyed. And that's all gaming is. It's enjoying playing, and it's enjoying what we like to do. So cheers, and I'll catch you next time.